got some wonderful individuals with me here today, man. Judah, Nicole, Marcus, abolitionist and activist and artist. I feel like it's important to bring y'all in to talk about the story. And I first heard about the story at We Free when you guys presented the poster and you talked about it. That was honestly my first time even knowing about the story. But it's crazy because my mom's from Dallas and all that, so she had knew about it. You know what I mean? And she kind of told me like a little bit of backstory. I was like, dang, that's crazy. This needs to be known.
Right.
Yeah, for real. So before we go into it, I just want to thank y'all for coming out and sharing your story. Okay. Now, as we dive into it, let's start right here. Where y'all from? You know what I'm saying? What part of town? How y'all all come together? The whole backstory. Let's get into it.
Right on. Well, I'm born and raised Dallas, Texas.
Yes, sir.
All three main parts. I say South Dallas, Oak Cliff, Pleasant Grove.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, sir.
Marcus X. Russell. I graduated from Carter High School.
Yes, sir. Let's go.
Grew up in Oak Cliff. So I'm from Dallas.
Was you around with the team when?
No, I graduated in '96.
My
sister was there probably in '88.
That's what's up. Right. A whole lot of good business in here.
How y'all doing? I'm Nicole, and I'm from Corsicana, so I'm
the King.
Yeah, the King. For sure. Yes. Come from the King. Graduated from Navarre College.
That's what's up.
Yeah. No.
Who out there? Wesley Johnson, basketball player.
Yeah. There you go. There you go.
There you go. That's hard. Let's go. I like that. So, what brought y'all into Dallas? How y'all all sort of? I mean, I know you from Dallas, you from Corsicana, but how did y'all align?
Mm-hmm. Well, we have nonprofits.
Let's go.
So we're all activists in our city. My nonprofit is Suits for Judah.
Yes, sir.
501c3 nonprofit organization. We focus on mentorship, entrepreneurship.
Let's go.
Exposure and empowerment.
And doing that, we met Marcus X. You know, he's been active in the hood. I mean, Marcus, you got to tell him.
Yes, sir.
Well, I actually met Judah. I'm with an organization called Gorilla Mainframe.
Let's go.
Or GMF.
And what's the whole meaning behind Gorilla?
Well, we're in Highland Hills, and the whites, the pinks, the greens,
yes,
and the browns.
Stay down the street.
Right, doing food drives, school drives, all a plethora of different things, health fairs, and I just started noticing a brother coming out.
Come on.
In the greens. And at the time, we was all vegan, but we was barbecuing chicken for everybody in the hood.
Nah, real talk.
Right? And this brother would come out and he would barbecue. He would catch the bus. I didn't even know this brother.
Look, come on, Joe.
And so, but I see people. A lot of times people don't see people. So I saw him. And I saw for who he was.
Absolutely.
So from that, we partnered. And we've been, and this is before I even had my nonprofit, Commissaries Very Necessary.
Okay.
Which is my nonprofit.
Yes, hard.
I'm to my heart.
So through what we did in Highland Hills, I created a nonprofit called Commissaries Very Necessary in 2019.
Let's go.
And we took, the movement we had with Gorilla Mainframe, what we were doing, Black Panther, and just community supported us.
Okay.
And in 2019, we was able to stop a lot of the murders in Dallas.
Let's go.
Yes. We partnered with the Black Empowerment Movement, Gorilla Mainframe. We went into the Greens. It was on the news, and we did armed patrols at night too.
Let's go.
And so we were able to talk to the adolescent youth in Highland Hills in the apartment complex, different than the police.
Absolutely.
So we didn't arrest nobody.
Because you're from the neighborhood.
Yeah, we didn't attack nobody. We didn't kill nobody. We were shot at. They tried to kill us a couple times, but even the 16-year-olds that tried to kill us, we were able to talk to them. Just like they talk to theirs when they have a bad day. Exactly. And don't take them to jail and don't kill them. So we wanted to provide that same thing in our community that the police provide for people that look like them a lot of times.
That's an interesting point right there, Marcus.
Right.
We do have a question about like challenges, but you already hit it. So I just want to stay on it. Like, what sort of you don't got to go into detail, but like, what was the cause? Like, how did that conflict happen?
It's a whole documentary about it too.
Yeah.
But the conflict happened. It was just you know, from the beginning, you know, there was a lot of murders in 2019. Dallas had the highest murder rate. I don't know if this year is trying to match it, but in 2019,
I'm aware.
And so we said, we found out in the Greens, which is Highland Park Apartments, there was like a murder going on once a week. So we know the most murders were happening there. So we said, look, we asked the management, can we go into that apartment complex? Give us an apartment. We'll do Christmas. We'll do all the holidays. We'll do feeding events. We'll bring health fairs. We'll do book drives. We'll do health drives. And we'll have men come around and be role models at night and do armed patrols for community engagement. And so we did that for about 4 months. And we really changed that apartment. And we changed the adolescent youth there. And that adolescent youth were the ones that was actually murdering people all over the city. You know, in those apartment complexes. They were leaving and going to do different things. But through our efforts, that's why you have Dallas with organizations like Creed now. And all these different organizations that's kind of really modeled after what we did in 2019.
Let's go, bro. I didn't even know about that.
Right.
Down the street from me, fam.
Yeah, and we got the paperwork. So if you heard about them dudes with them guns, you know, we would even shut down the gas stations. You know, armed shutdowns because they was illegally taxing people.
Protests everywhere.
Protests. So it wasn't just, you know, like people said, oh, they walked around in guns, but that wasn't what it was all about. Right. It was about when he was there and we barbecuing and we feeding the community.
Word on the street.
In South Dallas, they was walking. Was y'all? That's the same.
That's the Huey P. Newton Gun Club.
Okay.
Which
talk to me. Enlighten me.
Gorilla Mainframe are the founders of the Huey P. Newton Gun Club.
Enlighten me.
So it was the Huey P. Newton Gun Club and the New Black Panther Party, which made the New Black Panther Party and Gorilla Mainframe made the Huey P. Newton Gun Club.
Yeah.
Which Gorilla Mainframe Black Empowerment Movement made community engagement specialists, which is Judy was part of that, which is what we did in the Greens. And so it's like a collaboration of different organizations, but you see me in South Dallas,
I got you.
That's how we linked. They were doing all the action around the city, and we were covering all the action around the city. Word on the street with Judah. We had to come and see what was going on. I was like, yo, these cats is going in Holland Hills. I was like, yo, I'm gonna go out here. I'm gonna see. I didn't bring the cameras at first.
He didn't. He came by.
I went to go see, and I went for a while.
It was dangerous.
So you know what I'm talking about. But my thing is,
I know about this, bro.
My thing is,
I don't know about it, but I know about it, bro.
It's the work, though. You know, before you go into anybody's community, trying to say
That's
I'm here
crazy.
to help or I'm here to do any of this, you need to make sure that you're present.
Oh
first.
God, bro.
And they were present, and so I wanted to make sure
That's crazy.
that we exactly.
That's how we linked up.
Yes, sir. So that's how.
So I embraced him. Like, come on,
big
bro.
Brother. That's Big Brother right there.
You coming over to the Greens? You know how dangerous.
Cause y'all was really thugging together.
Right. So he came, and so we did a good thing over there to change the community. But that links with what, because in 2019 during that time, another activist named Malinka Green, who's also in the Sandbranch.
The star of the Sandbranch.
Right.
Movie.
We're gonna get into that. We're gonna get it right into it.
Yeah.
We're gonna get right into it.
Right.
Go ahead.
She asked me, did I want to do an ecological devastation tour with her?
What is that?
That's exactly what I said. Because, I was a new activist. I had just started my...
We ain't gonna go into what is that?
So, the Ecological Devastation Tour was a tour. We partnered with Al Gore and his Climate Reality Project. They got us a tour bus. And so on the tour bus, we wanted to put people from North Dallas and people from the southern sector on the bus. And we went to all the EPA Superfund sites on the southern sector. We went to West Dallas where they messed up. We went to Lane Plating. We went to Shingle Mountain. We went to Sandbranch.
Come on.
And see, at the time, that's what really turned me into an environmentalist, because I was always a human rights activist.
Come on, bro.
And so she turned me into an environmentalist with that tour. We partnered with them. It was very successful. NPR actually was on the bus and they recorded everything, but it never got out.
Don't worry about it.
Never got out. So, right. But it was a successful tour, and later on we won a lot of awards we won the Environmental Justice Organization of the Year in 2021, commissaries very necessary. And the reason...
Oh, that was just last year.
Right. So, and I dedicated that award to Pastor Eugene Cahey of the Mount Zion Baptist Church. So when I won the award in 2021, I dedicated it to the pastor. And so even this documentary is dedicated to Pastor Eugene and his wife and his 2 daughters. And that's why I asked him, I said, look, a lady from California called us. She said, I'm asking about Sandbranch, and when I called Dallas, they say, hit up commissaries, very necessary. You know, they did the ecological devastation tour, you know, because even with Shingle Mountain, we brought that heat on Shingle Mountain in 2019 with the tour. Now it's gone. You know, and those are the things we want to bring light to. And so that's the reason we're going back to Sandbranch, to bring a light to this issue, because the lady told us they got the Sandbranch Water Board, which is a non-profit.
Okay.
They got $400,000.
Okay.
And nobody knows what they done with the money. Right.
Okay. Let's go now.
Now, because even John Wiley Price had a couple of projects. He had the freshwater supply, and that was only like $300,000. And none of these things have been done.
Nothing came into fruition.
Nothing came into fruition, but they believed in my vision.
Come on.
Because they didn't have to do it. I didn't have no money to pay them.
That's all you need.
You know what I'm saying? I said, look here. You know, from the jump.
That's all you need.
From the jump. From day one, me and
That's all you
him.
need.
I've always encouraged. I said, man, can y'all do the Marcus X Streetcast? Because it's called the Marcus X Streetcast.
Yeah, we did.
It's just a program under my nonprofit. And they came. We done did 3 episodes, and it's all about environmentalism. Well, one of them is about Itania Jefferson. That's a different story.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because we do a lot of things for the city.
No,
You know, we were also instrumental in getting Lamar Street changed to Botham John.
Yeah.
You
Come
know,
on now.
Our organization, you know, is the Botham John Committee. We the ambassadors. We came up with the idea with Devontae D. Peters and y'all fell Balagoon.
My
And we-
mentor, Lee, like they frat brothers.
Right.
Nice.
So we just let them, the city, run with it because, but it was a fruition and it happened. It was a vision, and people didn't believe. And so right now, just like people didn't believe that our ideal of getting Lamar Street changed to Botham John would never happen.
Come on, Marcus.
They not believing that things can change
For Sandbranch.
for Sandbranch. But we believe those things can change.
Y'all done seen it.
We done seen it. Just like in 2019, Shingle Mountain was a mountain.
Yes.
But if you go there right now, all that's gone.
Come on.
Because we had a vision, we believed, and we weren't the only ones. There were a lot of small organizations, churches, activists putting light on these different things, and we still are today, and putting pressure on the Environmental Protection Agency. We've had committees that Devontae's been on that we work for free, that they get grant money to put together. And then though they don't pay the community activists that work these committees, but they get money to pay them.
Right.
But they keep that money.
That's a serious issue too that we do need to talk about in Dallas.
Go, Judy.
You know, a lot of the major organizations here, the grants come directly to them. It's almost like they write the grants for those major organizations. Organizations like, you know, who is this?
Come on, Nicole.
United Way. Other
What about
organizations.
Move?
You know,
Move Texas or
Move
something?
Texas and stuff. Major these organizations who already have millions of dollars in resources are steady getting all of the money. So when Marcus say, you know, he ain't had the money to give us or whatever to help make this documentary come to light, this is already it's a community project first and foremost. The whole thing, everything that we do is for community. So when we started Word on the Street with Judah back in 2018, it was during the George Floyd riots. You know, we noticed that the news was not showing what was really going on. They was only showing the negative. They were only showing the bad protesters per se. You know, the rioters, you know, as they would call them.
I'm with you.
So we got out there and we wanted to show a different perspective.
Yes,
so
sir.
we started filming, and the first thing that we noticed was people wanted an unedited view. When you're talking about live and you're talking about lives, people want unedited views because they don't want your lies. You know what I'm saying?
I'm with you, bro.
So when we started, it's like with Word on the Street with Judah being started like that, when Marcus approached us about the Marcus X podcast, about environmentalism, about Sandbranch, Texas, it's not a money issue.
Exactly.
For the simple fact, all those issues that you brought up, we're talking about poverty right here. He's championing poverty. He's championing people getting out of poverty and the
With little funds.
With little funds, with little to no.
So imagine.
What we could do if we actually had the funds to do this.
I'm with you, bro.
So just to
I'm with you, Judy.
tie everything up, man. We so gorilla with it.
Yeah,
man.
fed up.
Yes, sir.
We gotta utilize our resources and what we got.
Let's go,
So
Nicole.
that's pretty much how we did when it come back to Sandbranch as far as really wanting to get the word out, get the message, and show everybody that we can make a change. We're here change agents. That's the whole sign.
And
That's the name.
go ahead, Nicole, and just go up, like, just talk, give them a clear, transparent description of SandbranchTX, because they probably don't even know what we talking about or why we so, gun ho about it. Yeah, so
Sure, yeah. So
Come on.
Sandbranch, Texas is right outside of Dallas. It's about 15 minutes. Right outside there's a little town. It's actually a freedman's town, one of the first freedman's towns in Texas.
Come on.
And basically, a lot of black families went there, and they're, of course, low income, poor, don't have that money, so we're living off the land. So you go there now, it's 2022, right? They're still getting water from wells. They have no running water in their houses. We had one lady tell us it takes 40 bottles of water to pour in her, until one of the Sandbranch residents, 40 bottles of water to pour in the tub to warm up just to take a bath. Some people take for granted just going in there and turning on a faucet, or just having a bottle of water.
Or being able to flush the
to
toilet.
sip on it. Exactly. People don't think of stuff like that. So her washing and other stuff like that. So that's all the amenities that they don't have. And there's families down there, there's children down there that go to Sneakerville High School. So can you imagine a high schooler having to get himself pulled together?
Nicole.
You gotta go to school. This is the type of stuff that they're dealing with, and that's not right. And with them being so close and completely surrounded by water.
You're in Dallas County.
Exactly.
Dallas got money. Like, stop playing, bro.
Plenty.
Real talk, bro.
They ain't got no water pipes, no sewage system, no trash collection,
Exactly.
no street lights.
Come on, bro.
I read articles where John Wiley Price was saying kids was drowning in gravel pits out there. And so, but in the 1980s, before the 1980s, it was fresh, beautiful water. Now, let me tell you something.
Come on, Marcus.
We
Let's
talk bad about Sandbranch, but when you go out there, you're going to think you're headed to a resort.
This
You
facts.
are. It is beautiful.
Facts.
It looks like a resort. It's water everywhere. They even protect the alligators that was out there.
Alligator preserve.
Preserved.
But
But they ain't protecting the people in their community.
the wildlife.
You like, they
have
got no
fresh
water.
water.
It's a resort. It's water. The Dallas Water Company is right there.
Dallas wastewater utilities right there. The whole processing plant.
It's right there, and it's beautiful. But they say in 1980s, they say like before the 80s, the water was fresh. You could drink out the well. It was nothing, no problem. They say when 1980 hit, the water turned dark and it stank and was sandy.
I wonder why.
And that's when
That's Reagan era, ain't it?
right, and that's when the cement company.
Right across the street.
It's right there, and the residents say it's the cement company, but the Dallas County say it's the pigs. We think it's the pigs, so they outlaw pigs on their property unless you got private property. But when they tested the water, it was contaminated, and so you dealing with people who can't even wash, take a bath, and so they have to. What Pastor Eugene was doing, he was doing a similar thing we were doing in Highland Hills. He was right there bringing the North Texas Food Bank right to the church.
Absolutely.
Got people bringing water in and doing food drives right there at the church,
Absolutely.
And so, we have that same heart and that same passion for the community.
I'm with you.
And so that same legacy we were doing in Dallas that he was doing out there, and we didn't even know it. And like I say, he died. So really the reason behind the film is because the other lady called me, but I want to keep his legacy alive.
Amen.
And because he never got a chance to, I think he got interviewed one time by KURA and some things, but he never really got a chance to be that light that he really could have been for Sandbranch and for other areas just like that. Because his wife was from Flint, Michigan, that died.
And
she
then
was from Flint.
Joppa right there too.
Yeah,
Right.
Come on, bro.
See, that's the thing. We got to deal with these issues because Sandbranch is a representation, small representation of a larger problem.
I'm with you, boy.
Okay? You know what I'm saying? And that's the reason why we wanted to shine this light on this the way that we did too. When Marcus called us and asked us to come and film this for the Marcus X podcast, we had to do it guerrilla style. We had to do a guerrilla style. No other way to do this. When we look at the location, when we're talking about the things we're talking about, you're talking about a location that has low to no water access, you're talking about low to no electricity access. It's hard living.
Mind you, it's fresh water everywhere.
Everywhere.
I'm talking about
They can
10
live off
yards
the
away from Sandbranch.
Yes.
Is the most beautiful, pristine water you could ever see on both sides. So
That's crazy.
and they are building new communities in that area.
Around.
All
Right,
around.
right.
It's-
And
that's
Sandbranch ain't far. Sandbranch is only on the other side of the water of Wilma Hutchins.
Yeah.
My
You know,
daddy
the
live
wa-
in Hutchins. Come
Right,
on.
so the water is way on the other side of Sandbranch.
Right.
And that's all it is. You know, by Lancaster, where the airport is, because I read what they really want to do, because Lancaster has an airport back there, and Dallas wants to build a municipal airport on Sandbranch land. But don't expect to see horrible stuff until you get right into there, because the street going there is beautiful.
Yeah.
It looks like a resort. It looks
You
like,
drive through. You
and
would
it's a
never
fl-
know.
They say it's a
That
flood.
they ain't got no water.
that you would never know that the people have no water. This is facts. You would drive right through. It just look like a small country town. You know, like Marcus say, it's water everywhere. So why would you assume that the people don't have water?
And they wouldn't need this water if the wells wouldn't have been tainted by whatever they say it is, the pigs or the cement.
They wouldn't need it.
Company.
I don't mean correct.
Right, you
Correct. They wouldn't need it to live. They wouldn't need it to survive.
How would you?
Right,
You know what I'm saying?
right.
But getting water out of well is not a way to thrive. You know
Right.
what I'm saying?
I'm
We
with
want,
you,
our,
bro.
we want our people to thrive.
I'm with you.
Yeah,
You
we
know
want
what I'm
to
saying?
prosper.
We want to
He's
prosper and
absolutely
thrive.
right.
Speaking
And
of, go ahead.
Yeah,
bro.
no, you go
Nah,
ahead, King.
speaking of thriving, cause y'all hitting all my questions. Like I barely have to talk. But speaking of thriving, you know, like let's talk about some of the goodness, like some of the good work, some of the proud moments that y'all take pride in. I know like changing the greens and all of that are, you know, some proudest moments for y'all. Well, I don't want to conclude that that's some of y'all proudest moments,
Right,
but
right.
you know, y'all might have some more stuff like publications. I think I seen you with the mayor.
Yes, sir.
Okay, come on.
All right. Look, so we it's been a beautiful ride.
Let's go, bro.
I can say that much. Through the work that we've done, we were just awarded. Well, first and foremost, CIBN awarded us.
Yeah.
What you awarded us?
I would have to look into the file.
It's called basically the Get It Out the Mud Award. You know
That's what
I'm
it
saying?
was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess
So-
that's what it was.
Nah, for real.
So that was the first award that Word on the Street got. We also got the from
New Era.
New Era Dallas.
We got an award from
We
them.
got them Word on the Street with Judah Award. And then just recently we just won from Not My Son the 2021 Humanitarian Award for Not My
Word
Word on the Street with Judah again.
Yeah,
So 3 times awarded Word on the Street with Judah.
Right.
The work that we do, you know, in collaboration with everybody, with when I say everybody, I mean everybody that's working.
Mm-hmm.
I will be very specific about that. I won't hold no punches on that one.
Amen.
You know, the work that we do, if they're featured on our site, they're working.
Amen.
And they're people that you need to be looking to work with.
Amen.
So that's some of the things that we're most proudest of as far as Suits for Judah goes.
Mm-hmm.
Suits for Judah, like I say, is a 501c3 nonprofit organization. We are proud of that first and foremost. The fact that it's about the fact that we have helped. You know, we help with people with probation cases.
Yeah, talk about that stat you always.
Okay, yes, sir. 1 in 6 of every Texas prisoner comes from Oak Cliff, Pleasant Grove, and South Dallas.
Amen.
This is the 1 in 6 of every Texas prisoner comes from Oak Cliff, Pleasant Grove, and South Dallas.
All right, should be.
Yes, sir. This drives so much of our work for the simple fact that it's what I call a slow genocide.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, when people think of genocide, they think of death.
Mm-hmm.
But another genocide is absence.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, without being there, how can you exist?
Amen.
If a person is not there to raise their kids, then they don't exist. And
If you ain't there.
you're not there. All right, so it's a slow genocide. They're taking us out of our communities. 1 in 6 of every Texas prisoner comes from Oak Cliff, Pleasant Grove, and South Dallas. We can pretty much assume that those are young people. You know what I'm saying? Young black people, black and brown
They
people
look like a.
that look like us. And the problem with that is this right here. When you have that going on, then those young men that you had in here from SOC,
Mm-hmm.
right, who are now state champions,
Amen.
that award is an award, but it's much more than an award. Okay, that award
let's go, Judah.
it's a badge. I survived something.
Amen.
I survived something. I'm not 1 in 6.
Amen.
I did something else. You know what I'm saying? And as much as we should be proud of that as a community, also, I'll be glad when that's not something to brag about. So, the work that we doing, I feel like directly impacts that. And the collaborations that we do with people, CIBN, organizations like CIBN, who are literally in the fire, literally feeding the community, literally out here doing health fairs. Literally, you can see them all day long doing the work. We collaborate 24/7. We have an event coming up. Job ties. We're giving ties to young men.
Amen.
who are coming from API.
Right.
One of Marcus does so much in the community. I mean, hats off to him first and foremost.
Right.
Because I'm gonna speak on this the best way I can. I think we all need mentorship.
Amen. That's part of development.
That's part of development. So I just want to say this on this platform. I appreciate this brother for the mentorship.
Amen. I appreciate you too.
He has invested, you know what I'm saying, in me.
Amen.
In our organization, and in Nicole, you know what I'm saying, in us.
Amen.
In helping us grow. Because like you said, even though we had our nonprofit organization per se before he had his, he was doing the work long before
it got
there. So you know what I'm saying? It's coaching. It's coaching, it's development, it's love, and without any of that, we wouldn't have any of the stuff
No,
we've been.
But I just want to take this last 5 minutes to sort of highlight y'all brands, y'all organizations. This is where we want to promote and highlight anything that y'all have coming up, whether it's some activist events or it can be an artist event. Whether it's a show or a play.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying? A workshop, master classes for the kids. This is the time for you guys to get all of that.
Yes, sir.
Right. Marcus X, commissaries, very necessary. One of the things I'm most proud of is our Nature Smart Learning Academy, which is a curriculum. We partner with a private high school called Advanced Preparatory International in Oak Cliff. It's located right there where Dallas Executive Airport is, across the street from Luby's, Hampton and 67.
Oh, yeah, I know you.
The high
Marvin, I see it. Yeah.
Right. And so we partnered with a great high school right there. We created a curriculum. We built a garden in the back.
Marcus.
Yeah, we built a garden in the back, which is a classroom for the kids.
Let's go.
And we also teach hydroponics, aquaponics, and aeroponics. We teach them how to build garden systems on the inside.
Engineering.
Right. And so it was something we put together last summer. The school took it. It's a full year curriculum. They made me the dean of agriculture. And so we got another summer program coming. We start from 8 years old to seniors in high school.
Let's go.
Recently, the city of Dallas and the airport donated a beehive to our garden.
Let's go, Marcus.
So that's one of the most things I'm proud of right now, though. We also do health fairs. We do food drives with North Texas Food Bank at the school to give the kids community service hours and also to turn them into community activists. So by the time they get out of high school, they done fed 20,000 people.
Amen.
And we do free grant writing classes. And so if you want to get with us, commissariesverynecessary.org, CIVN.org. We on Instagram, we on Facebook, we on Twitter, Facebook business page. We have our own website.
Let's go.
Check us out. We're a 501c3. We're in the Dallas area.
Amen.
We also have a new chapter in Baltimore and one in Houston.
Let's go.
So,
you working?
Yeah, we
Marcus working.
So, because I'm Nicole, you can find me at Nicole Bryant, Nkole, on Facebook. On IG, it's on Warrior Queen. You can also find me on Warrior Queen. That's my community outreach page that I make for breast cancer survivors. I'm a 2.5-year triple negative breast cancer survivor myself. So I like to put that out there. That and mental health, we like to talk about it too. Melanin Knickknacks. That's my photos. I take photography. I'm also executive producer of, I try to do my best. Executive producer of Word on the Street with Judah. And actually catch us on May 7th. We're going to be at the Art Inspired Healing Fest. We're actually going to have about 45 minutes to an hour. We're going to actually be teaching a class on guerrilla journalism, how we do this, why we do this, and how it can affect the mental health of the people that's going on. And I actually am getting ready to work on a documentary coming up soon in May called More Than a Woman.
Yeah. All right. So I'm Judy Abbott. And look, Suits for Judah. Word on the Street with Judah. You can find us on Facebook. Instagram, and other platforms.
Mm-hmm.
The main thing that we want to let people know to look out for is we have partnered with University of Arizona.
Come on.
To put a toolbox together for Sandbranch. So Suits for Judah is partnered with University of Arizona. We're putting a toolbox together that is going to help the people of Sandbranch and anybody else who wants to know how they can help Sandbranch. What we're doing is consolidating all information, everything that we have. The document, yes, is going to be just like we did in right? Be free. Okay? All right. So we're putting that toolbox together, and that's what we have coming up. So be looking out for that. We'll let everybody know.
Amen.
You'll be able to go in there and interact with it. We're going to have a dream section in there. The dream section is going to be, what do you dream for Sandbranch? Because we want people to make this personal. You know what I'm saying? So that's one thing that Suits for Judah has coming up. We also have, like I said, we're partnering with CIBN. We're doing Job Ties. That is an event that we have coming up that we're going to be doing at API Institute. Also, look for our documentaries on Roku.
Amen.
On the DTR channel. Download DTR.
Amen.
The two documentaries that we have on there are the Sandbranch documentary. The name of the documentary, the official name is Sandbranch, the Texas town with no running water.
Amen.
And then the second documentary that we have on there is the most revolutionary documentary ever, with the chairman Fred Hampton Jr.
Amen.
and his queen, his mother, Akua Najib.
Man, I told you, I seen them on Ghetto Boys podcast with Willie D and Scarface.
Yes, sir.
Then I seen them on your document. I said, oh look, y'all working.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So we partnered with GMF to get that one out. They called us. I really want to tell this story, so I'm gonna tell it because it's my chance to tell it, right? So they called us and they told us, come meet us. We thought this was gonna be like a regular interview. We didn't know what we were going to do. We really didn't know that Fred was even coming. So we went to go meet these people to go alignment. We went to go meet them to go do the documentary. When we get to the location that we were going, it was not a filming location, and our first thought as filmers, as filmmakers, was this isn't right.
This is setup.
It's set up. So the next thing they asked us to do was to follow them. Gut instinct was.
I'm with you. It's fake though.
So we had the fake. They took us to an undisclosed location to get this documentary. So when you see the documentary, you don't know where it's at. We can't tell you where it's at. The reason why is because it is literally the resting place of the Fred Hampton.
Amen.
So we were on sacred ground.
Amen.
So we got the film, the documentary with Fred Hampton Jr., his mother, Akua Najiri.
Amen.
And, the great Fred Hampton. The reason why we were there is because people were shooting up those headstones, shooting up Fred Hampton's headstone, trying to destroy his headstone, trying to destroy his legacy. So they were covering it with a bulletproof covering. All right. So the name of that documentary, unofficial name of the documentary, is Bulletproof Love. And
talk to me.
Yes, sir. So we really want people to check that out. It's not one that gets a lot of publicity, for the simple fact it's not one that we push like that.
Yeah.
It's something that is for it's for a specific.
If you find it, you find it.
If you find it, you find it. So I encourage people to look for that.
Absolutely.
Yes,
find
sir.
it, you find it.
Shout out GMF.
Nah,
Shout out GMF. They made that one happen.
Let's go, man. Good content, man. I appreciate y'all. I really do. This is a story I didn't know about. Y'all been enlightening me on more details about the story I didn't know about. Even like with the documentaries, other different organizations that y'all are part of, the whole, movement with the Greens, the whole Holly Hills. Like, I was around. Like, I lived down the street for real.
Right.
So I know y'all was working. Hey, nah, for real, man. Real talk. It was a war. I appreciate y'all coming out. I really do. This has been the NPR Consider This podcast. I'm your host, Christian Wolford. I appreciate Marcus coming in. Appreciate Judah, and I thank you, Nicole. Everything that they're doing, you will, if you haven't already experienced their work, you're going to be experiencing it even more because they're not stopping anytime soon. Yeah. So once again, this is us, man. This is NPR Consider This podcast. We signing out. Appreciate it.
In my way, nigga had to call another play. On my high hook on 3, break 448, loud, came through and it smell great. Hey, niggas ain't really wanna wait. Hey, hungry and they want another play. Hey, jet ski on Louisville Lake, boat party going in the day.